Marjorie Parker. Brian, who plays Nathan Waters. Eric Balfour, who plays Deep Crocker. Adam Copeland, who plays Dwight Hendrickson. Executive producer Sean Diller. Executive producer Matt McGinnis. Producer Gabrielle Stanton. Co-creator Stan Burke. And today's special moderator and newest cast member for Haven, best known as Sheriff Jack Carter, formerly of Eureka, Colin
Having a good time so far? Good. All right. So we got a panel to do. It's going to be fun. Here's the deal with the questions. These people are humans, so you can trick them, right? They're not supposed to reveal anything about the season, but you can make it happen here today. All right. So keep that in mind when you're doing it. I'm supposed to talk to them for about 40 minutes before we open questions. That sort of sucks. So we should probably open up questions sooner. You guys like that idea? Awesome. All right, form a line. Come up, start asking questions. We'll start it right out of the gate. No joke. I'm not kidding. You think I'm kidding? I'm not kidding. Excellent. Good. Come on up.
I'm just
Fantastic.
glad that I actually remembered to button my fly. I was actually really
Oh, by the way, here's a pen. I'll pass this down. What you guys can do is sign these things because you can hand them out when we're done. And if you guys want to keep those. See, we're givers. We're just constantly providing presents. All right, fire away. What's your question?
Hi. I actually started watching the show because of where you filmed in Nova Scotia. And I'm from New Brunswick. You're from New Brunswick.
Hey.
So I wanted to, I guess, ask you, what is it like to film in such a, I guess, rural area compared to what you'd be used to in typical filming locations?
Great. You guys want to do this where somebody, if they have an answer, they can jump forward. If nobody jumps forward, I'm just going to stick it with the question.
Brilliant.
It's like camp. That's what I feel like. Every year it's like going off to camp. Everybody packs up, we head out, we have our, our little cabins that we go to at the end of the night. But it's literally fantastic. It's a small little town. I was just saying this on the way in. A brass band plays every Sunday night. So I get to walk around. We have the same place we go to breakfast, the same place we go to dinner. We always see each other. It's really fun.
A brass band plays every morning to wake me up. Ready to work. And then the brass band plays as I drift off to sleep. No, we do. We have cabins. Some of our cabins are nicer than others. That's right. I have a tent. No, it's amazing. Have you been there?
Yeah.
You're from New Brunswick. I've never heard of it, but I think it's close to Nova Scotia.
Just 4 hours away.
So it's beautiful. I mean, really, a lot of times you can end up spending. If you're lucky enough to get to spend this much time shooting a TV show, you could be in some disgusting industrial part of some yucky city in some terrible season.
But we're in Hamilton.
You could be in Hamilton. It's amazing. It really is. Especially now we got our boat in the water.
And do you guys find that shooting in a place like that informs the show in any way? Like being able to shoot on location in a small town, does that sort of provide a flavor? Or like what does it provide sort of specifically when shooting?
Can I take this one?
No. That's
Hello. I don't think they turned the writer's mics on. Actually, well, because it's a Stephen King show and all takes place in Stephen King he likes Maine.
He's a producer.
He's from Maine. Actually, I was lucky enough to go out with my partner Lloyd Segan when we were scouting. We looked at Vancouver and Montreal and Toronto, and we went to Nova Scotia. And the big challenge there, we heard, was there were no crews. And when I got there, I fell in love with the place. We went to Lunenburg, which is the town that is Haven. And turned out there is a crew. It's a great crew. led by Jenny Duzak, who's this like pirate woman who just drives the crew and gets us all through our days. And but truly, I mean, you always hear that in filmmaking, the character is you know, the location is a character in the show, but in this case, it's actually really, really true.
The town motto is we're a drinking town with a sailing problem.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. How'd you guys like that first question? Think I'm good for you?
My question was about the troubles. As a person with a facial difference, with, you know, going out in the world, I really identify with that aspect of the show and all of that you guys do for it. Where do you pull, I guess, from the writers, your ideas? How do you guys come up with those? Because we're all really great.
Let our writers handle that question.
I'll try and take this one. We always think of the troubles as sort of coming organically from sort of different aspects of the world. We try and find troubles that sort of emotionally resonate with people and things that can then, in a weird way, almost elevate them, but at the same time be a challenge for them. And we try and think of stuff that's really, really cool. That's going to take these characters that we're always trying to know better, and we try and find a trouble that will allow us a way to elevate, to figure out a way that we can get to know them better. That's always sort of where we come from when we do that. I wish that was a funnier answer.
You and I have spoken on Twitter, haven't we?
Yes, we have.
Don't I owe you a hug?
Yes, you do.
Okay, all right.
Cast members, everybody.
No, that's totally legal. If you say good game, you can hit anybody you want on the button.
First, I want to say, I grew up in Maine. Thank you so much for not trying to make a Maine accent.
Yes, you're welcome. We tried that once.
You haven't seen my work yet.
I've watched enough shows that they try to set Maine, and I'm just like, stop, please, stop it. The second thing is actually a question. I promised my daughter that I would do this. She is a junior at Vanguard, so she wanted to say, "Go Lions!" Yes, awesome.
Go Lions! Go Lions!
Yes, fantastic. Don't I owe you a hug?
Best panel you've seen so far.
Well, first of all, I pretty much thought I was the only person watching the show, and I was so incredibly lucky that Sci-Fi kept bringing it back. But I was trying to explain the show to my 15-year-old grandson who's never seen it, and I got to Audrey Parker and who she was before.
Story of my life, trying to
Oh
explain.
my gosh. Can somebody give it to me like in a nutshell? I don't understand.
Sam, I think that's a question for you.
Get back to me in a nutshell.
Jim Dye and I came up with the show on my balcony, on my porch. It was about 95 degrees, and I said, dude, what if there were all these cursed people, and all the curses went away, and then they started coming back Friday night at 10 p.m. one at a time. And to go back to the question of the trouble's hard to come up with, I will say they were a lot easier in episode 1, 2, 3. Not so much in episode 21, 22, 23. By the time it was 37, 38, we're like, okay, he's a Republican. But he lives in a family of Democrats. His soul is eating itself out.
So no one line on Audrey. We got
And she's really, really hot.
The show.
Oh no, we're gonna get you an
You're
answer.
still
Don't
Didn't
get
help
confused.
you.
We need a concise version of Audrey.
The show is about a cursed town where people. Oh man, I can't.
The problem is you can't do it because if I tell everybody who Audrey is, I can only do that till season 10.
Actually, Audrey Parker actually is Sam Ernst's daughter. So there you go. Because he has his daughter's name is Audrey Parker,
Yeah.
right?
And just like the fictional Audrey Parker, she has a hell of a mouth on her.
But this isn't going to help your case.
No, it's not.
So I guess the answer is you're gonna find out the answer later on in the series, and you'll be so happy then, and we wouldn't want to ruin that magical moment for you.
If this helps at all, the writers often get asked this question, and we pretty much have the same answer, which is a lot of sort of tap dancing.
So I don't get an answer and I don't get a hug.
I told you guys there would be hugging. I don't know why you're
Hello, how are you?
Well,
Good, thank you. We love your shirt.
Oh, thank you so much.
That's fantastic.
Isn't it nice? It's about a show of some kind. I'm not really sure what it is. Colin, I loved you in that other sci-fi show you were in. Can't quite remember the name of it. But you were awesome in it. And I'm sure we're all dying to know what kind of a character, I'm sure not specifics, but what kind of a character you might be playing in this one. Because
Okay.
this is the best show on TV.
Yeah, yeah, my character's name is William. I come in and I do a bunch of stuff with Audrey off the top, and I guess what I'm allowed to say at this point is that there's a connection between Audrey and myself, and we're not quite sure if it's physical or if it's just friendship or if it's even good. So, long story short, I'm a problem. Not so much in trouble.
I'm mentally hugging all of you.
Good.
And Colin, good game.
I like that.
You guys are great fans. This is good. This is the beginning of a very long relationship.
Thank you, Sci-Fi. I've been doing like mass, just like catching up on everything. Haven happened to be what I just started doing like maybe like a month before, and I think I caught up on everything within like a week. What I
How do
love
your
about
employers feel about that?
I work from home.
Oh,
And I'm on call IT, so I can just keep on watching. It's like, yeah, turn it off and on again. Anyways, what I love about Haven is that it's not really tied to any one mythos. It's just kind of like a collection, or like you say, it stems more from like emotional drive. But I guess I'm wondering for the cast, it's like, which trouble did you have, I guess, kind of like the most fun with? Either filming or just like acting out?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Well, coming into the show in the second season and having the trouble that I attract bullets. I don't know if fun would be the right word.
Where's your sense of adventure?
But strangely, it has been fun. I truly thought, though, okay, this guy's not around for long. And here we are in the fourth season. But they're all they're really interesting. There's some really fun ones this coming season. The first episode, it was so well shot that you're sitting there like, oh wow, gosh, like I truly believed what I was seeing. So just stay tuned, because if you think you've seen anything, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Did you guys want to chime in? Is there a trouble that you guys had fun with or had fun watching someone else have to do?
Here's just a fun story. So, as you guys remember from season 2, Jason Priestley was on the show.
That was a fun trouble.
Our amazingly talented, incredibly creative, masterful, genius, brilliant writers wrote a trouble where if you look at this guy, you fall in love with him.
Not a big stretch. I'm sorry. My husband is here. I gotta be careful.
Granted, that's true. The problem is, God forbid you ever have to do a scene with him where there's something actually happening. You couldn't get through the scene, so it turned into a game of me and Lucas having conversations with Jason. We were like, "What'd you say? Yeah, no." And the poor director of that, we would be like, why are you doing that? That's weird because you're not looking at the camera. Like, well, we can't look at the camera because he's next to the camera, so we have to like call these conversations like this. It became very uncomfortable.
Yeah, you look up and you see the 9 actresses that are shooting that day.
That's when it works out to be immune to the troubles, right?
My girlfriend actually had dinner with Jason Priestley while we were shooting. Have dinner with Jason Priestley. I showed up at the restaurant. I'm like, hey. She's like, oh, hey.
Good, thank you very much.
Can I have a hug from Nathan?
Yes.
And so far, if you guys are paying attention, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hugs left.
Nobody wants to hug the writers.
Hello.
We all want to hug the writers.
Hey, I'm the first guy to ask a question. Hey, I'm a big fan of the show, but I'm also a big fan of wrestling.
And you're the first guy to ask a question?
Yeah, I know, it's not weird. Isn't that so crazy, right? This is directed
It's for me or for
towards
Colin?
Edge.
I thought it would be for Lucas.
Okay. Is there any plan to have Christian come upon the show, maybe grace us with his presence?
I don't know if you've noticed this, but he's really ugly. So, he just played my brother on TV. Really good. No, I have no idea. I truly don't. I really just show up, grow facial hair, and pick things up. That's what I do. And if you want a hug, I will give one hell of a bear hug.
I want
I did not expect the mounting. I did not expect that, and he's about 220 pounds, so.
No, we just hugged.
Awesome, take it away.
One of those shows that I actually didn't plan on watching and just watched because it was on, and I was completely hooked by the end of the first episode.
Yes.
And the reason why I think it's my favorite show is because I can never expect the ending. And I was wondering, what do you do as writers to make it so that it's very difficult to guess most of the endings? And also, how is it as actors to read the script for the first time?
Well, from the writing standpoint, it's tricky because we're, in addition to the emotional stuff we're doing, trying to create kind of a compelling, cool mystery every week. And it's hard. We sit in the writer's room and try to say, okay, if you're watching this, what do you think is going to happen? What do we want to happen? And what does someone totally not expect is going to happen? And sometimes we nail it, and sometimes people are like, oh yeah, I saw that coming. But it's hard, and as Sam said, it was a lot easier season 1 than it is now. But we still have a lot of fun with it. How the actors respond, I don't know. Maybe they look at it and go, what?
Well, I remember at the end of season 1, and some of you may have heard this story before, so forgive me for repeating myself, but at the end of season 1, I was really upset. I threw the script down on the ground and called Sam right away, because I was like, is this your creative way of recasting me? You're bringing in another girl named Audrey Parker. You don't think I see this for what it is. But in a lot of ways, it was fantastic, because I really understood how she really felt in that moment. And so that's one of those, moments where you're really thankful for that twist, because I can tell you, I did not see that coming at all.
And that was another twist that we were like, how are they not going to see that coming? It is so obvious. Like, with the picture of her, it's her mother. Really? Everybody bought that? We're like, oh, we're going to get away with that for 2 episodes, 3 episodes. I'm watching Twitter and chat boards like, really? Nobody is getting this. Great.
And I would love to get a hug from one of the writers.
want for the team. You're welcome, everybody.
You're such a big human being.
And just so you guys know, in a panel like this, usually there's somebody up there screening the questions to make sure that, like, nothing untoward or nothing. There's no one there. There's no security at all. So that's amazing. Take it away.
I just want to let you guys know that every single Friday, my best friend and I have watched from the very first season, the very first episode. We tweet and text each other during the commercial breaks, and we're like, oh my God. So you guys are like you were in my life every week, and you help me stay in touch with my best friend halfway across the world. So you guys are in my life. My question is actually to Emily, who I love in every single way because I played every single Uncharted. You are such a strong woman, and I am a girl gamer, and you give me, I'm like, oh my God, I love her everywhere. So, speaking of everywhere, you are several different Audrey Parkers or iterations of yourself. And as an actor, how hard is that for you to portray those different people and still kind of keep the same core? Because each one of them is a little bit different, not only because of the time you are, but also, what that Audrey is there to do.
Yeah, I have to say that, and first of all, thank you. You're like,
you want to give me a hug?
I will.
All three of you.
Yeah.
I'm okay. I'll hug everybody. I'm okay with that.
Yes. First of all, like when I auditioned for Haven, I had no clue. I had just gotten married, coming back from getting married and going, I really hope I get work. And I was so excited when I read the script, and I had absolutely no clue that I would get the opportunity to
Work with me.
Well, that, and that I'd get to play so many different people. It is an actor's dream to be able to do that. And so I was really excited when I found out that not only was I not going to be just photographed as these people and stand there silently looking very sad on the beach, but that I'd actually get to live in scenes as these people. And it's a very exhilarating, scary thing because you just wonder if you're going to be able to pull it off. But when you have a group of people that support you and are all for you changing your voice and changing your look and just taking a risk, it's so exciting when it pays off. And to be able to be in 50s, makeup and hair and do that, and then to go into the late 70s, early 80s, it's really fun. It's a blast. So I'm really excited and thankful for them for writing it. Because
you guys are awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Please take it away while they're hugging. It'll be great.
So this question's for Lucas.
Uh-oh.
I've been so impressed with...
He's very busy right now. I'm not sure.
He's drawing a cat with a little...
Sorry, but I can't wait.
I've been so impressed with how many different emotions and behaviors you've had to play. Which one was the most fun for you?
Well, first of all, thank you for noticing. Which one was the most fun? Anytime that I get to feel. There's a certain. There's something coming up that was a little awkward, arguably fun. You'll know what I mean when you see it. But there was someone asked before what a fun trouble was.
Lucas, is that because you're naked in that one? Is that why that was?
I look naked, but I'm not. It's there was that. Sam, there's a little. Now I'm. There's a little. Nudity coming your way in the near future. But I was going to talk about, actually, there was a moment, last year, I think, that Nathan lost his trouble momentarily, and that, for me, was a blast to get to play, that new sensation, which was, everything. Not just this one anymore, but all things.
Like he could feel his phone vibrate.
Finally!
You didn't have to have it on side.
I can feel it. Like, are my pants always this way? That was fun. Just the wind, you know, the wind in my hair. There were times actually where Sean, you were, I think Rob was directing that episode, that both of them would come up and they were like, I like what you're doing, but you're, through this whole scene, you're touching yourself a little too much, maybe. So try one. That was fun.
Can I have a hug?
Yeah.
That's awesome. I kick her back out of the way, it's fine.
So, of all the troubles that were created, which ones were your most favorite? And this goes to the whole panel.
All the troubles. Or one that you enjoyed. I'll take the superlative off of it. Maybe not your favorite, maybe one that you really enjoyed. Wait, we sort of had a question like this. I can ask it again. Is there one that you enjoyed? Maybe the writers and one that you particularly enjoyed writing and came very easily.
Well, anytime you can see Nathan feel something. Because I'd like to do my impression of Nathan Furious. This is my impression of Nathan thrilled. I will say this though, Lucas is exactly what Jim and I had in mind when we created the role of Nathan, almost to the letter. And that's absolutely. You know, I liked one, I'll just pick one that I actually wrote, but it was Jim and I wrote, which was The Farmer, and it was a gorier episode, but we liked the idea, and I do love my father very much. We like the idea of a father harvesting organs from his children and killing them. But what happened in there was a beautiful moment, which we shot very late at night, and it was really cold, and it was at the Gull, and Audrey had betrayed Duke, and we did the scene maybe 4 times, and each one, we had these people who had been friends for so long, and I don't remember if there were lines in the scene or not. Maybe there was one line. I think Audrey had only lines, and I just sat there and watched Eric say volumes, and I don't think he had a single line, and cried. And the one we used, I think he cried, but they were all equally spectacular, and that's really the best kind of trouble is what brings it out in our characters, not that they're just cool and gory and all that kind of stuff. And that was a beautiful moment.
Love you all. Thank you so much for, being on my TV and bringing these stories to life. This is something that I absolutely love watching, and I'm very happy that sci-fi has kept you around.
So are we.
Like Colin's other show that we will not name, but we all know that we wish could keep going on forever. But I see that you guys are out there, you're smiling and having a good time and enjoying Comic-Con, because we all do. I'm wondering, on the set, when you guys are there, the writers put in these Stephen King references, these little tidbits. Do you guys do any kind of tricks on each other to kind of keep, the fun little, sibling rivalry, or just little fun kind of things?
Oh, you're asking about pranks?
Yes.
You mean besides the good game, but?
Yes.
Oh.
Something that requires planning and...
I don't know if it's necessarily, we really should, well, I shouldn't say that.
Oh,
you
you can whisper that to me later.
No, I don't think that we're necessarily pranksters on the set, but I would say that we're really not afraid of making the other person ruin their take.
There we go.
That's all gone out the window. It's kind of like, it's as much fun and laughing about, because these troubles are great, but sometimes when you're saying these things out loud, you're like, what are we saying? And to get the other person, like, I've distinctly asked Lucas to not be there when I do my coverage at times, because
some scenes she prefers to act to a wall.
Yes.
I can see you being distracting on occasion.
And I can't, there will be times when I have to be extremely serious, and I just cannot say it if he's standing there. So I ask him to leave.
Makes no sense.
Leave.
None whatsoever.
Highly unprofessional.
It's also the nature of shows like this. It's very hard to shoot it. It's very taxing. There's so much of shoot in such a short period of time. So that idea that you spend, a lot of time coming up with these pranks and executing, you can't give up your day. To half an hour of like, I soaked you with water. That's just not cool.
But however,
Although our transportation department has a lot of time on the
Lucas has had a long time war with our transportation department.
I did one on kind of by accident on you.
Oh, you mean the martini?
Yeah. Oh. When you were talking about giving up half an hour to water. I probably told this story, but we were at the Great Gulf. I'll tell it very quickly. She was sitting down below and having a little scene with someone else.
And
they were talking over drinks, and I was just screwing around on the top deck. And there was a little plate of gummy bears there on the craft table. It was always delectable treats, and I took one and I was just excitedly dangling it over the edge of it, and I dropped it, and it landed straight in her drink, which splashed the whole table, the whole stuff, got the microphone wet. She looked up, she was like, "You're on." Just had like that horrified teenage, ashamed feeling, which I
So when
still...
she, of course, disappeared, he wasn't there. He dropped it, it went everywhere, and he took off.
They had to reset the table, they had to reset the mic, everyone, like the camera guys, had to move away. They were like, what a douchebag.
And I would love to get a hug with all three of you.
Alright, you guys want to do it? I was the policeman. I was beating the bad guys. Yeah, exactly. If you could have asked one of the members of the cast a question, what would it have been?
To the unknown comic member. No, my name is Amit Hoth. I'm a rocket scientist. So
me too.
I really appreciate the strong woman character that Emily plays. I think that's awesome. I want to ask the writers, we've had one other strong woman character with the trouble. Are we going to get more strong women characters in the show? I watched it since the beginning. I love it. I'd like to see more of that.
From the rocket scientist.
As a matter of
Like
fact,
maybe a rocket scientist.
as a matter of fact, we do have a character such as you speak of who will be joining us for the upcoming season. So,
Yeah.
Choose your flavor.
Oh my God. There he is.
It's a kissing booth, basically. Exactly.
We can all just hang out. We can all just hang out after the panel and hug. We don't have to do it like in a succession after questions, like it's a reward for a good question. We can just hug.
I do want someone to ask such a bad question that they get rejected.
Don't let that be you, brother. Good, this better be good.
I'll try. But first off, Adam, I challenge you to a bear hug because I guarantee I give a better bear hug than you.
No hurting Adam.
The man just had neck surgery.
I won't hurt him that bad. But
Yeah, I mean, hey, more power to you.
But my question is, I come from a family of cops, and I'm more like Duke in the show from my family.
Good man.
Yes. How's it, one, to play a cop, and then two, deal with a supernatural being a cop, thinking like, logically. My dad's a cop, and he's like, what is this crap? Turn it over, go away.
No, I wrestled a lot with that question in the first season, and I know the writers at the time were trying to conceal, trying to hide it from me, obviously, that I may not actually really be Audrey Parker, But I remember at the time saying that, we're cops, we're going into this place, how are we doing? Let's do it right. I don't want cops sitting around going, what is this crap? Right, I don't want that happening. But in hindsight, it worked out really well because, she may or may not be that, So I was thankful that they kind of let that go. But we spend a lot of time with guns when we can before trying to, make sure. And you actually, Eric, were technically sort of a cop, right?
You were
were a cop.
In real life.
Well,
real life.
I wanted to be a reserve officer, but apparently I couldn't. I didn't have the 1 weekend a month.
Dedication.
Thank you.
Serve sometimes.
I commend you. It was a good question. You didn't
thank
fail
you.
at all.
All right. Now, thank y'all for the show. I really appreciate it. And Adam, you're what? You ready? Come on.
Everyone else is giving hugs, I'm getting a hug.
All right. Take it away.
Hi, so I'm here with... I missed the press junket this morning at Nogumushu restaurant, whatever it was. So I'm asking you the question I would have asked were I at the press junket.
Well, we're not answering.
Actually, two-part. One is, with Stephen King being a producer on this, but this book, Colorado Kid, being out of print, how much input does he actually have now that you're into multiple seasons? And the second question for everybody actually is, what is the Stephen King project you wish you were starring in other than Haven?
I'm fighting a cold and went out pretty late last night.
I'm fighting a cold. You stay out.
All right, fine. Stop it. Don't tell everyone. I was right over there. All right.
I think I'm fighting the same goal.
I'm going to tell a little story about Stephen King. This is my second Stephen King series I had the pleasure of producing. The first one was called The Dead Zone. I produced that with my partner Lloyd Segan, and I actually co-wrote and created that show with my father, a guy named Michael Pillar. And when we picked Sam and Jim to give this book to, they did such a great job writing the script, and before we actually turned it in, we sent it to Mr. King. And he wrote back a note to us. And it was funny because I had never actually spoken to him personally. It's always been through lawyers and agents and stuff. And we know he's a big fan of the show on The Dead Zone back in the day, but I was very jealous because Sam got this wonderful note that said, "We love the script. I love the script. Thanks, Steve King." And I'm gonna kick your ass later. But no, Stephen has been hugely supportive of us and his team. We actually, Sam can tell you, we have another. He just gave us the rights to something else.
His name is Steve King.
Steve,
Some of us.
sorry.
Steve. We have a Steve and us. We need a writer. We actually just we just sold a pilot script of another Stephen King short story to ABC. Me meaning my partner Jim Dunn and I, along with Sean and Lloyd Segan, the same producers from Haven, and we are writing that now. And that is based on a short story called New York Times at Bargain Rates. The fun is that the Colorado Kid was 110 pages and had not one supernatural element in it. And we made this. This story is 7 pages long. And it is now a 55-page script. And it's really, really a lot of fun. And it actually, it's not at all like Haven, but it is at the foundation of it, and I hope we're not revealing too much of what saps we are, is a love story. And that really is at the foundation of Haven. What that love story is, I can't tell you on Haven, but it's really cool and it's coming.
How is that show going to work? Because we're all starring in it at the same time as we're doing Haven. Sam?
I'm a very, very slow writer. And then the shows you guys would want to be in, the Stephen King movie or TV show that you would want to be in.
Is Monkey Shines the one with the monkey?
That's not Stephen King.
It's
That's
not?
George Romero.
Oh. I'm just a moderator. Good for hire. Here, put it out.
I can go movies, and I would have loved to have been in Stand By Me.
Which boy were you going to play?
The one, no.
The one with the...
Yeah, no.
Titanic for me, definitely.
She brought it home.
All right.
Thank you.
That's what you get. Yeah, burn the moderator doesn't go well. Anyway,
We're a loyal pack.
Hi, normally I don't do this because I have extreme stage fright, but I just want to say I found out yesterday because we were celebrating my birthday yesterday. I actually got season 1 and 2 on DVD, so I'm like, sweet! But I had a question for Eric and the writers. Why steel gray eyes when he gets the blood? My name's Athena, so the gray-eyed goddess, so why steel gray? I mean, your character is very wise, but why steel gray? Other than that.
That question is so far above my pay grade.
It's actually not, I mean, I could come up with a better answer, but he's got brown eyes. You have brown eyes. Green.
No,
Thanks for noticing.
When the blood touches his hands from the trouble, or any kind, or when
No, that's a thing to explain the show to you. Can you tell them what the show's about?
Basically,
This is what we deal with every day.
We did a bunch of tests. These two have blue eyes. He also has blue eyes. We did some tests on different colors that would show up and look good.
Yeah.
And so, I know I'm boring this shit. I'm boring myself. It's my, but it's like, I'm answering.
Shut
One of my
up.
best friends. I can totally make we grew up together. He taught me how to surf. I'm still terrible.
I don't want that.
This question is so far above his pay grade.
So it just looked the best, and we didn't want to go too weird. We wanted to keep it organic, and it definitely needed to read in wide shots and close-ups as well. So,
as you may have noticed, Sean is the producer-director, and mostly what he wants to know is how cool can I make this look?
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure that actually the silvering eyes, was that Sean's idea? I can't remember.
You know, from the writing standpoint, we kind of thought about different things. We didn't want to do black because that kind of said alien to us. We didn't want to do red because that kind of said vampire. So we kind of ran through a whole bunch of different things. We wanted something that would be kind of unique to Haven.
There was a really nice chartreuse version. But I explained that one.
But yeah, but brown eyes roll because I have brown eyes, so there you go.
But the way we came up with that we don't call it trouble per se, but whatever it is Jim Dunn actually came up with it, and we were coming up with the question was, what's the worst possible thing that could happen to Duke? And the answer is for him to be inextricably tied to the whole thing in a way that he could never possibly get out of. What's the worst thing that could happen to him? And I think the line that sort of sums it up is, why does everyone, for Duke, because she said it in episode 201 or 301, and it was, why does everybody always think I want to help? And I think that's...
It's funny because I end up helping everyone out even though I don't want to. So I know what you mean.
Yeah.
At least somebody understands.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Alright, we got like a little under 15 minutes left, so we'll try to get through the lineup. Let's cap it for sure, and hopefully we can get through you guys by the end of it.
I want to say, first of all, I love the show.
This is not helping us get through.
You be quiet.
Alright.
It really feels like the X-Files Twin Peaks hole that I've had in my heart for so long, right? But I had a two-part question for Adam. Your asides aren't helping either.
Producing the television, you should come on board with us. I could use you on set sometimes to write these things.
But Adam, when you read the script, when you take off your shirt and the tattoos on your back, like, how did you react to that? And also, how much are we going to find out about your role with the guard this season?
That was a good question.
I always have kind of looked at Dwight as the rudder on the ship. He is a little bit of the moral compass when, especially this season, when everyone goes off. Dwight's trying to keep everything intact without giving anything away. With the shirt thing, I just thought, okay, I get to expose my nipples again. Strangely, here's the thing. I jumped around in tights, half naked with sweaty men for my entire adult life. But it was so weird and awkward for me that day because it was this monsoon, it was a torrential downpour, the rain was sideways, and that does not read when you watch it. Everyone is head to toe in like this rubber, wetsuit, and I'm half naked going, I'm the one thing here that doesn't belong. Really, really weird. We're gonna find out more about Dwight to answer the second part of that question.
I'm actually gonna, I think we're allowed to say this. We had like a list of things we're allowed to say.
I got it right here.
Nice. Do you want to say it?
No.
Okay. Dwight gets a bigger role this season. And he's a really natural actor and can do more than just beating people up all the time. Although this season you get to beat up. He gets to become a cop, actually. He becomes but there's kind of a 6. I'm gonna let you talk about that.
Actually, that's more than we wanted to say about that.
6. I didn't say 6.
We could actually use you to wrangle Sean, actually, if you could come on set.
Yeah, actually, that's right here under things we cannot reveal or talk about.
You're allowed to trick, man. That's all you.
I was furiously looking for the piece of paper that said things we are not allowed to talk about on this panel. I didn't look fast enough.
Glad you came, though, huh?
Hi, my name is Cadence. The reason I'm here is that I was at the party last night and someone stole my DVD and I lost all the signature.
So?
I was wondering if it's possible to have everybody signing, including the writers, sign my DVD.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. We're going to watch this multitasking. Ask your question.
I'm actually surprised no one asked this yet, which is why I came up. The last time we saw Audrey and Duke, they were disappearing in the barn. Should we expect a time leap, and are we going to see what happened inside the barn while they were gone during the season?
Oh, yes.
Hold on, let's look at that list again.
Did we get that piece of paper out?
Well, there's things we can say, which is the question of the time leap was discussed for a very long time. But we can't say what we can.
We will see the barn again.
And yes.
Alright, boss, ask away. Come on up. If somebody can lower the mic for him. Isn't there a kid there? You're jumping in front of a kid? He's with you. Alright, that's okay.
Oh, they're your kids. Okay. You know we're a big cast. We don't like you.
Hi, Adam. These are my kids, and they've been big fan of yours since you've been wrestling. Especially this one. He's always one of the at Walmart, the toys, figures from the Edge. And my question is, how hard has been that transition from acting in wrestling to acting in TV?
Well, the biggest difference I think was with wrestling, it's instant gratification. Right away if something worked or not. It's live. At 9 o'clock, I'm going out through the curtain and I have 10 minutes of speaking to fill with like 5 bullet points. So that's a fun challenge, but I really enjoy having a script. It's nice to sit down at the end of the night and go, okay, what do we got coming up? I want to try and take a certain tone into this and be able to work with the directors and really try and get direction instead of just it all being on my shoulders and trying to figure this thing out. Plus, I'm not half knocked out half the time. So it's a lot easier to think.
We've tried to really help Adam's transition. So sometimes if he's in the middle of a scene with Emily, say, then when the camera's on him, and usually we try to make it his close-up, so he's like really concentrated and still. Balfour and I just come flying in. I'll go high and he'll go low, just to keep him on his toes.
Can they get a hug?
Oh yeah, of course.
Awesome, you guys, you know what?